All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to No Final Bell as we are coming off of Wrestledream itself. What
Which
a
was a
great,
great pay-per-view, by
great
the way.
event, a great pay-per-view. Every match, maybe except for the 0 hour matches, were great. I don't think there was any one bad match on the main card to my knowledge, to be truthfully honest with you. But before we get onto the main card, we're going to talk about the pre-show matches. And the
Yeah,
first one that started off was a six,
eight
um,
man,
eight
8 person
person
mixed.
mixed tag
Yeah,
team match with Satoshi Kojima, Keith Lee, Athena, and Billy Starks facing off against Mercedes Martinez, Diamante, Shane Taylor, and Lee
and
Moriarty.
Shane Taylor Promotions.
Yes, so I mean, I don't know. I don't think there was like really too much to really talk about with this going on. I mean, it was pretty much like another match itself. But I guess with that being said, yeah, Satoshi Kojima, Keith Lee,
Yeah,
Athena, and Billy Starks do beat Mercedes Martinez, Diamante, Shane Taylor, and Lee Moriarty to start off the night. Um, but no, this one got a little brutal itself. Claudio Castagnoli faces off against Josh
Josh Barnett.
Barnett, the former UFC
Yeah,
guy, current Bellator MMA guy. This was a brutal
I think he's
beatdown.
only a
These,
commentator in Bellator
yeah,
now.
but like,
He did compete
yeah,
in mixed martial
UFC.
arts in UFC. Yeah.
But Claudio Castagnoli and Josh Barnett had a brutal beating. I mean, these two were stiffing each other throughout the match itself.
However, the real star of the show was John Moxley's commentary.
Yes.
At least for
For
I mean,
majority of the show itself,
that match kind of set the precursor for the rest of the night, which we'll
yes.
get into it. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
Claudio, giving some stiff shots, some stiff upper cuts itself. Josh Barnett giving some stiff shots. The transitions that he had as a submission specialist was amazing and showed his prowess as a professional wrestler in this match against Claudio Castagnoli. But fortunately, it was not enough. Claudio does get the victory here in a brutal contest. After the match, Claudio earned Josh's respect, and will eventually face off against each other in the future. Thoughts on that one? Claudio did say any place, anywhere, any place.
yeah,
So it could end up being not just in AEW, but somewhere else. That
you know, I just had this random wild thought, but it could potentially happen at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, which is like his own thing that he does in conjunction with Game Changer Wrestling.
hmm.
I mean, granted, I don't know how Claudio would feel about working in indie, but it's against Josh Barnett. I mean,
So I mean itself, yeah, they're gonna face off against each other. It very well could be in AEW. It very well could be there, but I don't think it's going to be in AEW. I think it's going to be
no,
outside
it
of
wouldn't be in
AEW.
AEW.
So I mean, again, these matches were kind of just thrown together almost last minute, I would think.
Yeah,
So we
because
get,
they built the main card and then they just kind of threw together some 0 hour
which is
matches, which, I
terrible.
mean,
I guess this match itself kind of made sense. Luchasaurus faces off against Nick Wayne, just basically brutalizes him the whole entire match, and then gets the victory. There's not really much to talk about. Nick Wayne, it just sucks. We will talk about him later on,
yeah.
which I think I talked about happening in
I
previous
just,
episodes itself, but we'll
I
talk
just
about
didn't
it more in full
expect it.
detail.
That's, that's my thing. I just didn't expect it.
I kind of
But yeah,
did.
we'll,
I thought it was gonna be sooner than it was, but hey, it
mm,
made sense to happen in Seattle of all places. But again, Luchasaurus does get the victory, and Nick Wayne.
well, I mean,
I'm sorry, but
it
unfortunately,
sucked for Nick Wayne's mom to have to see.
see his son getting brutalized by a bigger foe. Yeah,
Well,
It did.
just to see her son lose in a in front of a bunch of her uh for basically like her townsfolk, you
Right.
know.
So
I would have
we
said friends, but I don't know how many friends, she would have with an arena full of people.
and
Like, and
then
I'm not trying to like downplay that at all. It's just, like might as well call them townfolk.
right.
So
And we got into the last match of the 0 hour is the Acclaim and Daddy Ass
yeah,
put
so
on
this
their
one I was kind of surprised that they put on the 0 hour again. Like the trios titles and the acclaimed and Daddy Ass. It's like I would like it if they were on the main card, but at least you're doing something with the acclaimed and Daddy Ass and those trios titles.
right. But yeah, they put their trios titles on the line against TMDK.
The mighty don't kneel.
So I mean, TMDK definitely gave a strong fight and a strong
Yeah.
battle to the Acclaim and Daddy Ass. But of course, you got the Scissor Me Timbers.
Well, yes. Also, this is technically Mikey Nichols' AEW debut like match.
Mm-hmm.
Technically.
Right.
So yeah, because usually when they have like TMDK or when they've had TMDK in AEW as part of like Forbidden Door and everything, it was usually just Haste, Bad Dude Tito, maybe Robbie Eagles, and then of course Zack Sabre Jr. But
Yeah.
this one was actually like Mikey Nichols was actually there, and he participated and competed in that match. So this was technically Mikey Nichols' AEW like debut.
Yeah. We almost got the famous for Daddy Ass, but fortunately, I think there was a counter in the match, so he was not able to get the full extension of the famouser. But Scissor Me Timbers into the victory for the
Into yeah, so they did the um I don't know what the precursor to the mic drop is called when Bowens, you know what I'm talking about, right?
yeah
His little like side slam thingamajig. I forget what he calls that. I know he has a name for it.
yeah they did their signature
But he did
tag
that,
team
and then
move and
Max did the mic drop.
got the victory to retain the World Trios tag team titles against the TMDK. To
I'm kind
retain
of
the World
surprised.
Trios tag team titles.
I'm kind of surprised that the acclaim didn't do their like quote unquote like new finisher that they did that 1 week on Collision. You know which one I'm talking about? What it is like they uh picked a guy up and then like dropped him.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm kind of surprised. I mean, maybe that was just a one-off,
It
but it was a
probably
cool
was.
finish either way.
But then again, I going forward for the Acclaim and Daddy Ass, I mean, I'm grateful that they got a new opponent, a new trio to face off against. I think they need more different trios to go off against for those World
Yeah,
Trios tag
to
team
keep
titles.
the trios
Again,
division
I've been
fresh.
saying it. I think that BCC should get their hands involved in it. Um,
I
I
just
would
think,
like, I mean, because you got Claudio that isn't doing anything.
well,
You got Moxley that's not really doing anything, and then
well, to be fair,
and Wheeler
he's
Yuta that's
hurt.
not doing anything. So I again, who Moxley with a
Yeah,
concussion?
yeah.
Is that why he was on
That's
commentary?
why he
On
was on commentary.
okay, I mean, again, he seemed like he was fine. I mean, even though when he
Well,
comes
yeah.
back from concussion, I would hope that they can face off for those World Trios Tag Team titles heading into Kia Forum for Full Gear. So I think that would be the best opponent for Daddy Ass and the Acclaim. But again, I would like to see more trios kind of getting involved in it. I think you do have a lot of trios. I mean, after it, you still had the Mogul Embassy that could go after the World Trios Tag Team title since they're no longer the ROH six-man tag champs. I mean,
That's
that's
true.
something.
That is true. I mean,
So
move them up from, yeah.
So that's one trio that you could have involved in
And
itself.
especially considering like how well that's kind of debatable, but I'm gonna go with it, especially with how hot Mogul Embassy is right now. I don't know so much about the Mogul Embassy more so than Swerve Strickland, but that's still an option.
I know I would think that Swerve Strickland. I mean, of course, we'll talk about that match, but I think that um, going forward, looking hot, he should probably get some more singles matches itself.
Yeah.
But hey, it's something. Um, well, because it's not like Hangman isn't doing anything. He's currently with the Elite and are the ROH six-man tag team
Yeah.
champions, so he can get involved with ROH in itself, even though he won't really be primarily used too much on AEW itself. So again, it's something. But we're gonna get on to the main card. Speaking of the ROH titles, we get MJF
Yes.
defending the ROH tag team titles in a
2-on-1 handicap.
2-on-1 handicap match. And I would have thought the disadvantage would have not played in the favor of MJF, but
Well, yeah, especially
MJF
considering
was able to get the body slam on Dutch. He was able to get the kangaroo kick. He did not do no double clothesline, which he very well could have. I mean, don't get me wrong.
he could have done it on his own, but it wouldn't have.
He showed sportsmanship. He did get beaten up and looked like he was trying to go for the tag. There was no Adam Cole there as he's getting prepped for surgery.
Yeah.
Again, it was nice to see MJF retain, but let me tell you something.
He overcame the odds.
He did overcome the odds.
It was interesting to because really off the top of my head, the last time that tag team championships were defended in a 2-on-1 handicap match, the champion that was at the handicap lost to the opposing tag team.
Oh,
and that was New Age Outlaws.
I will say this now.
Mankind and
commentary team. We want to talk about commentary team coming up clutch. What about the dick grab from MJF? And then the commentary team's like, oh, wow, well, the races really are at the handicap. Yeah. So,
I didn't catch that.
Man, I tell you what, the commentary team were on point that whole entire night. They were
we already mentioned Moxley's commentary.
But yes, dick grab to Vincent from MJF himself. I mean, he had a testicular
claw
itself. But yeah, MJF he shocked the hell out of me. But how much of this is going to play into factor? How much do we see the Kingdom getting involved here and setting up that storyline? Because I don't think Roderick Strong is out of the question for going after those. After MJF in some capacity, even though I know that MJF does have Jay White going at him, and then we gotta know who was under that mask with MJF because he says
MJF
he was not. He confirmed some. Yes.
Went into his dressing room and stole his mask.
Again, like I was telling Marty, I really do think because there was more than just the three guys. Mm-hmm. There was more than just Roderick Strong and the Kingdom. I think there's a fourth man, and it's that leader that's underneath the mask. Could you imagine if that was actually Adam Cole that was underneath that mask?
A lot of people are saying that, but I don't think.
But I think.
But how would he have been walking on his foot if he was?
I know. One step above, I think it's Kyle O'Reilly. And it makes the most sense.
How close is he to returning?
I think he's a lot closer than a lot of people think he is. I mean, he's been out for a long time, too.
Well, yeah, but, his issue is with his neck. So his neck health is really the one in question, not Roderick Strong.
Yeah, exactly. Neck strong there. But honestly, I really do think that it could be Kyle O'Reilly that is involved with this. Of course, we'll have to find out in the coming weeks, because I personally I have no idea who else could be involved with the Kingdom itself. Like, there's not, unless there's a new signing that we don't know about.
I mean,
That could be, it could be possible.
We did get somebody recently, and we'll talk about it.
But there's no way it can be somebody like him.
His shoulders are not.
But I will say, I think it's got to be either somebody new or it's got to be Kyle O'Reilly, and would make the most sense because of the connection with with Roderick Strong, and I guess the Kingdom and ROH and stuff like that. So it's got to be somebody ROH, wise here, that's trying to take out Jay White to get to MJF. It could play into a storyline, which could lead into that person going up against MJF at Full Gear, which would take Jay White out of the equation. Or it could be Bullet Club Gold that goes up against the Kingdom, Roderick Strong, and that new person. That could be a possibility too. I didn't even think about that. But again, Jay White could be the next opponent for MJF, or it could be they go in a totally different direction. Of course, you gotta keep on watching Dynamite Collision Rampage to figure it out, because again, you have just over a month leading into Full Gear, so this is when the new storylines are going to be playing into factor. So I'm ready to see what's going to happen.
I just thought about this too. What if it's Cole Carter from Ring of Honor? Because he has been with the Kingdom and all that stuff. So I think this is more so like an ROH thing, and it's somebody from the Kingdom that was in ROH that's targeting Jay White in AEW. Maybe.
Could be. So we're going to get on to our next match. We have Eddie Kingston and Katsuyori Shibata facing off for the ROH World Title and the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship.
Yes.
And man, the slap battle.
Oh my God.
The brutalness of this match itself. Eddie Kingston at the beginning was slapping Katsuyori Shibata, and he's like, come on! Slap him again, goes down, come on!
Yeah.
Until he got down to, sitting position and just kept on wanting to say, come on. And then Katsuyori Shibata was doing it to Eddie Kingston, and Eddie Kingston was like, come on! Give me everything you got. These men slapped the hell out of each other, were brutalizing each other. You gotta see a lot of Japanese, strong style in this match.
A lot of.
And mind you, there was not a normal AEW ref for this match. There was a New Japan strong ref for this match.
The thing is, I'm fine with having a New Japan ref in there, but why couldn't it have been Red Shoes?
Yeah.
Where was Red Shoes?
Probably not available.
Okay, that I can understand.
It made more sense if it was a New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong, NJPW Strong ref, which could have...
That's kind of like the same... either way, it's a New Japan ref.
Yeah, it's still going to be as...
having it New Japan Strong, it's I'm pretty sure they just used, referees that are they just take indie bookings. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
Japan Strong.
Well, they had NJPW ref, which I guess made sense for the NJPW title on the line here. But all in all, it made sense. These two men respected the hell out of each other and showed respect after the match. Eddie Kingston beat Katsuyori Shibata. Eddie Kingston had his music playing, going out of the ring, and then shortly after, Katsuyori Shibata's music was playing as he, was saying, to the giving his respect to the crowd and respect to Eddie Kingston. These two men have the utmost respect for each other. It was a great match, great brutal match. Again, I don't think there was any one bad match at all in this whole entire match. Even this next match, Chris Statlander and Julia Hart for the TBS Championship.
Yeah.
I think I saw a lot of poise and promise from Julia Hart
Yes,
to
definitely.
really, go forward as a women's competitor itself.
Well, especially like a women's champion too. Like
Yeah, I
she could
mean,
be a viable. I mean,
I think she
maybe
could
not.
with
Maybe not like a TBS or a women's world champion, but I mean, granted, like at this point, I think it's safe to say that like winning a ROH title isn't really that much of like a demotion.
probably not.
So, like, with that being said, if not the TBS or the Women's World title, I'd say have Julia Hart start out going after and becoming possibly Ring of Honor Women's World Champion and then working her way up to the TBS and then eventually maybe Women's World title.
Yeah, but I mean,
So,
Julia Hart was doing everything she could. She was brutalizing Chris
yeah,
Statlander that pretty much the whole match. Chris Statlander used her brutal strength to pick her up and pile drive her, and then gave her her
gave her
finishing
the
move
Sunday Night Frenzy.
and beat her to retain the TBS championship. Chris Statlander has been on a roll ever since winning it from Jake Cargill, who is currently in WWE and could be debuting any minute now. Any um, potentially by the end of the month is what it says, but who knows? Um, Now, next match, the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match to determine who faces off against whoever wins between FTR and Aussie Open for a future
Yeah,
title match, which I'm thinking is probably going to be on Title Tuesday, which is going to be next Tuesday.
yeah.
So we're going to try our darnest. We might release that episode Tuesday at 7 instead of Wednesday, or Tuesday at 5 instead of Wednesday at 5, depending, maybe. We usually
We'll
like to
see.
release these before AEW happens,
Yeah.
so we'll see what happens. But Young Bucks face off against the Guns, Hook and Orange Cassidy, and Lucha Brothers, and man, the spots that we got in this
Oh, I know.
match, even beforehand when it was the Fatal 4-Way match, it was Canadian Destroyers itself.
Hmm.
But this one, fortunately, we got a little bit of a botch in the match.
Oh, yeah.
With Nick
Yeah.
Jackson
Yep.
and
Nick Jackson tried to pull a Swerve Strickland, and he uh, soon realized that he's not Swerve Strickland and cannot do that.
but
So,
yeah, Orange Cassidy, coming up, taking off his wrist tape and going after himself. I mean, Hook using his suplexing moves itself. The Lucha Brothers, um, itself. But again, in this match, Young Bucks look poised to go after the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Of course, we'll talk about who won later, but man, um, Young Bucks, they're looking good. They want to get those AEW World Tag Team titles back in itself, but we'll definitely talk of who they're going to face off against later on. So next match is Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page going up against each other. This got brutal. This
yeah.
was good. This was a great back and forth contest that was outside the ring, inside of the ring itself. Swerve Strickland beating the hell out of Hangman Page. Hangman Page was trying to get the buckshot lariat as much as possible in this match, could not get it. Actually, I think he probably did. Um, but
He might have.
Swerve got a lot of house calls in that match. Even beforehand, he's like, "Whose house?"
Yeah, he was
Everybody
hyping up
was
the crowd.
behind Swerve Strickland in this match.
Well, yeah,
Everybody
even
was
in front of his
against
hometown.
Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah.
Um, you know, itself, Swerve Strickland um, got a couple house calls and then finally got his one main move there.
What what does he call that? The ML driver,
I think so. But yeah, Swerve
or was
Strickland.
it the swerve stomp?
No, it was not the Stomp. Swerve Strickland does beat Adam Hangman Page again. I mean, it sucks for Hangman. It really does because this man has not been looking good and been riding the elite ever since really losing the AEW World Championship. It does suck. I mean, again, he is ROH 6-man tag team champion, so I mean, he's not like he's not doing anything, but it's going to be more in ROH than in AEW right now, um,
Hmm.
which is saying more for Young Bucks than Hangman. The Young Bucks are, vying to be holding two different tag titles, the 6-man tag team titles in ROH, and then the AEW World Tag Team titles in AEW. But Swerve Strickland, man, he has been on a tear. Mogul Embassy has been hot as of late, and I'm liking it. I'm grateful that Swerve Strickland is finally getting his opportunity to shine in professional um, wrestling company itself. And Swerve Strickland can only go up from here.
Yeah.
I get it. I would like we have been saying, like how I've been saying, both of these men, could have benefited from a win more than the other. But I guess Swerve Strickland, after Hangman Page being a champion in some sense, I guess Swerve Strickland needed to win more than Hangman Page did. I would hope that maybe he can eventually vie for a singles title moving forward, even if it's some other kind of title. But I think Swerve Strickland needs to vie for a singles championship. Um, Keep him away for the TNT championship. No offense there. Um, but
How's
I
his
would think,
father?
yeah, right. I don't know. I think more like the international championship, having vying after Ray Phoenix or the world championship. I mean, that's something he can have a contest with.
I don't know if he's ready yet.
But I mean, he'll maybe get
Well,
there.
yeah, he would have to work his way up, but I don't know if he's
But he's
ready.
definitely on the right path. I think he's on the right path to moving up to getting to some kind of title opportunity in the future. So great win there, Swerve Strickland in front of your hometown crowd. Ricky Starks faces off against Wheeler Yuta. Was just a brutal battle itself. Ricky Starks, man, he has been nothing but amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
he's trying everything he can to get opportunities after opportunities. Wheeler Yuta just was brutalizing Ricky Starks as much as possible. Um, John Moxley wanted Wheeler Yuta to beat the living crap out of Ricky Starks, but again, it just sucks. I mean, Wheeler Yuta, this was his first AEW singles pay per view match, and unfortunately, he's starting off 0-1. Ricky Starks gets the victory here, but again, I think Ricky Starks still has the BCC to worry about in some way, and could John Moxley or Claudio Castagnoli be the next ones on that list that he would have to face off against? Because he's already faced off against Bryan Danielson twice and lost. So could and beat Wheeler Yuta, could Claudio or John Moxley be next?
Possible. But also, yes, we were talking about it in this match. John Moxley, he he covered his mic while he was spouting some like advice, I guess you could say, to Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah, he was trying to say, "Hey, beat the
Yeah,
shit
because
out of him."
he even subtly said he's like, yeah, I kind of got fined. I got to watch my swearing in this. They kind of fined me for all the swearing in the 0 hours, so I got to watch my swearing. But yet he didn't. It didn't matter much because he was still out there cursing like a sailor.
Yeah, that's the one thing you would have to worry about with being a commentator in the future if he was to is watch out for the swearing, especially on live television. But
Well, yeah, a pay per view is one thing, but a live TV is another. Yeah. So
yes, speaking of Bryan Danielson, he faces off against Zack Sabre Jr.
yes.
these two
Very
men,
technical
yeah,
wrestling. I mean, you knew it was going to be, but like, man,
these guys had a counter for everything that they
yes,
threw at each other, and it was crazy. But
especially Zack Sabre Jr.
it
with
was
all of Danielson's submissions. I was kind of
yes,
surprised, but at the same time, it's like, nah, not really. It's Zack Sabre Jr. He's the technical wizard for a reason.
yeah. Zack Sabre Jr. was targeting every limb that he could find in Brian Danielson's body,
Yeah.
and definitely the right arm itself
Yes, the right arm was a big target.
was a big target in that match where
That
Brian
steel
Danielson
rod.
still does not feel very comfortable using that right arm as he's using more the left arm. Danielson was punching with the left arm to Zack Sabre Jr. and Zack Sabre Jr.
Zack Sabre Jr.'s like, come on, mate. Come on, mate. I can't even feel it. Like,
No, he
why don't
was
you
like,
use your right arm?
yeah, use that right arm, and he was starting to beat him up with the right arm itself. So kind of forcing Brian Danielson to feel uncomfortable in that match as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, these two men had a counter for everything, and Brian Danielson using any submission he can, Zack Sabre Jr. trying to use any kind of submission and move he can. These two men put on a really great technical match itself, and could vie for maybe one of the better matches of the night itself too. But unfortunately, Zack Sabre Jr. could not get the job done as Brian Danielson wins. Who could be next on Danielson's hit list? As this
That's a
is
great
as he's
question.
in his last year of his
I was gonna
career.
say his run. Enjoy it while it lasts because it's definitely not gonna last very long. Um, I mean, it sucks, but at the same
I think it
time,
would
he
be
knew
cool to
that
see him
he.
go after Jay White. I don't think he's ever faced off against him.
No, he hasn't,
That
and
would be cool.
honestly, I would like to see it myself.
I would like to see him go after either Jay White, Kenny Omega.
Well, Kenny Omega already happened,
Well, yeah, that's true. Jay
but
White. I mean, guys he hasn't gone up against before. I mean, that would be cool. I think that him and Jay White would put on a great contest itself.
let Danielson be in the G1.
No.
Obviously, I'm joking because, quite frankly, his body would not be able to withstand the, like, well, just in general, too. New Japan is probably not the safest, like, place for him to be. So, and I don't even care who he would go up against. You could put him up against, like, the safest worker from New Japan.
Right.
You're in Japan, dude. They expect a lot from you. They expect like hard hitting, just fast paced style.
Mm-hmm.
Danielson, like, well, not to mention, I'm not saying that he wouldn't be able to keep up like age wise, but health wise, he wouldn't be able to keep up.
Probably not.
So yeah, just for your safety, Danielson, don't enter a G1.
All right, we go on to our next match. Don Callis
Don Callis
family
family.
being Sammy Guevara, Will Ospreay, and Konosuke Takeshita, all wearing red and black
Yeah,
tights,
that damn devil Don Callis.
facing off against Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, and Kota
Yes,
Ibushi.
the Golden Jets, as they are trying to call themselves. Which, by the way, Jericho is trying to trademark. He trademarks everything.
I mean, Kota Ibushi, man, they summoned Murder Ibushi here as
Yes,
he beat the
Murder
living.
Ibushi came out, and when that happened, it's game over.
Yeah, we got to see strong style between Konosuke Takeshita and Kota Ibushi,
Yes,
and man, they brutalized each other with those strikes itself. I mean, Kenny Omega was beating the living crap out of Will Ospreay yet again.
yeah,
I mean, we know the kind of brutal match that they had at Forbidden Door in
yeah,
Toronto. Those two men had a classic itself. Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara had a little bit of a thing, but unfortunately not as much as I would have liked. I would have liked to see a little bit more of Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho in that match. Of course, You're not going to as much as you did with Grand Slam, but again, you should have seen a little bit more of that. Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. I think the start off the match was a good touch. Kota Ibushi and Konosuke Takeshita beating the living shit out of each other. It was nice to see.
Yeah.
But again, that damn Don Callis hitting Chris Jericho with his own baseball bat and got the victory there on against Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, and Kota Ibushi. The Don Callis family has been on a tear as of late, getting 2 upset victories on Kenny Omega, and then beating 3 of the best that there are in the game today, and Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, and Kota Ibushi. The sky's got to be the limit. What if they go after those World Trios tag team titles? I mean, again, I don't think it's going to be Will Ospreay. I think you can get Daniel Garcia part of it as well, but
I don't know, because he was kind of upset at Sammy Guevara over the fact that Sammy turned his back on Chris Jericho and aligned himself with Don Callis.
Right. I mean, they could be a possibility for, again, Don Callis' family could be part of that.
There might be, I was going to say, there might be something there with Garcia. Like, he might, bait Sammy into thinking, like, oh, he would never join the Don Callis family. But then next thing you know, it's like, oh, yeah, hey, like. But we also don't know what Ospreay's contract status is currently with New Japan. I was going to say
he's very close to eventually. I think his next step is probably signing with AEW, because
I think he's already because he's already had.
And if they get the Billy Goat, that just puts AEW on a whole different another level. I'm sorry.
Because you consider Will Ospreay.
It would make the most sense because you already have United Empire.
Yeah.
And you already have Aussie.
Well, you already have, you would already have, what,
2/3? Yeah, in a way.
3/5 of United Empire? Because you already have Aussie Open. You would be getting Will Ospreay. The only 2 left are Cobb and Great O'Khan. And I don't see AEW getting Great O'Khan anytime soon.
Right.
And then Jeff Cobb, that's if he wants to. He was technically in Ring of Honor at one point, so who's to say he couldn't come back?
Right, true.
But,
could happen.
Like I said, it really,
So speaking of Aussie Open, they face off against FTR for the AEW World Tag Team Championships.
What a tag team spectacle.
Oh, yeah. This was a great match.
It really makes me want to go back and watch their first encounter, because, if this was anything to go by, if this match was anything to go by, it's like, oh, man, I can only imagine what their first encounter was like.
It did suck that, you would have thought maybe Aussie Open could have had a chance, because they were just, they've been on a tear. They've been looking hot. They were already ROH World Tag Team Champions.
And IWGP and New Japan Strong Tag Team Champions.
So they were vying that maybe they could have been the next ones to be able to dethrone, but Aussie Open itself, they did hit the Shatter Machine on FTR, which was interesting to see itself. But Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher, man, they are 2 uprising young stars that are looking to get up there.
The future is very bright for Aussie Open.
Yes, they are. Yes, it is. And I think that they will eventually be future AEW World Tag Team Champions. It would be too stupid for TK.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, they gotta be.
Eventually, they'll win.
Yeah, eventually. And unfortunately, it was not this time, as FTR does beat Aussie Open to retain the AEW World Tag Team Champions.
Who's to say that we don't get FTR and Aussie Open for a 3rd time, and then the 3rd time is the charm?
It could happen. As Young Bucks will face off against FTR for a fourth time. And again, those tag team titles will be on the line.
Yep.
I'm thinking it's going to happen on Title Tuesday. It would probably make the most sense.
Well, you say again as if like, I mean, technically, yeah, the first and third times that they fought each other were for the tag team titles, but the second time they faced off was actually for the Ring of Honor and AAA. So,
Okay, well, every time they faced off was
every
for
time
a
they
tag
faced
team
off,
title in some way.
A tag team championship has been defended. Yes.
Again, these two are going to put on a classic, and what better way to put it on free television? It would probably be better if it was some kind of pay-per-view event, but again, I don't think I would want to see that happen unless you had somebody else. But who knows? I mean, Full Gear is, not exactly around the corner, but it's going to be your next pay-per-view that you're going to be booking and heading into. Of course, we'll talk about what match could possibly get booked for it, and it's almost kind of like it's a given. But we're going to get on to our main event match. Christian Cage faces off against Darby Allin in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the TNT Championship.
Yeah, so the first fall went to Darby Allin.
Yes.
Off of a roll up.
Yes.
Darby pulled up the Christian Cage's turtleneck, and to the point where like he was practically blinded. Next thing you know, he rolls up Christian Cage, gets the first fall.
Yeah,
then
Christian Cage in that second fall was beating the living crap out of Darby Allin.
Threw him onto the steel stairs.
Yes.
Off the apron. He basically was on the apron, just basically in a way like suplexed him onto the like literally the corner of the step, like went right into Darby's spine, and like he didn't get up for a good
Christian Cage got his first fall there in
his
technical
first fall
second.
was by count out.
Yes. And the third fall, he was tearing the ring apart.
Yeah.
And exposed the hardwood.
The canvas.
The hardwood.
The hardwood of the canvas of the ring.
Mm-hmm. Took apart
the canvas, the padding.
He was
nothing but wood.
He was untying
taking like dummy knife.
No, he was untying him. He was untying.
Was he untying?
Yes, he was. He was untying it. He was untying the ropes.
I saw a knife.
He was untying them.
But either way,
the ropes of the actual mat. Of the actual
ring itself.
And then all the padding itself.
All the padding was
pulling
off.
It
was nothing but wood.
Exposing all the hardwood itself.
Yes, the 20 by 20 lumber.
And Christian Cage did get the spear on Darby. Darby was,
first he hit the kill switch.
Yes.
Which Darby kicked out of. Then
Darby did do the coffin drop on Christian Cage.
Yes.
On the hardwood itself. And I think transitioned into like a submission. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
he got him with the... Here's the thing.
Scorpion Deathlock.
I was going to say, here's the thing. They called it the Scorpion Deathlock. But here's the thing. Christian is Canadian. The sharpshooter is a Canadian thing for Bret Hart and Owen Hart. So, because of Christian Canadian, I'm calling it the sharpshooter.
But then Nick Wayne got in there, and you thought maybe Nick Wayne was going to help out Darby, but no. Yeah. Hits Darby in the face with the TNT Championship and helps Christian Cage retain the TNT Championship. Then Nick Wayne beats down Darby after the match, and out comes Sting that beat down Nick Wayne and Christian Cage. And then out comes Luchasaurus that beat down Sting, and then Christian Cage was about to give Sting the concerto, and then the lights go out.
And, before we get there, we had a teaser on the screen. It was a thing that said, our feature presentation. and there was somebody with like a leather jacket and everything like that. He was driving a car. He gets in the car. He's
Well,
driving
I kind of
somewhere. It's
knew it
like,
was
what was
gonna.
happening with
I
that?
kind of
But
already
then,
knew who it was gonna
yeah,
be because it said rated R on the
yeah.
street.
So, and then you hear, you think you know him, and Metalingus, and he's there.
Out comes Adam Copeland.
Adam Copeland is in All Elite
Yes, to
Wrestling.
make his AEW debut and wants the chair from Christian Cage, and then he hits Nick Wayne with a chair and spears Nick Wayne in a Luchasaurus as he makes his debut loud and proud. We will hear from him later tonight, and he will
And
have
he
his
will have his
official
first
match
official
on
match.
Title Tuesday.
No, it's
against,
not Title Tuesday. It's the anniversary.
No, we're gonna
Is
hear
it
from. Yes, we're gonna hear from him.
He's
later tonight.
He's speaking tonight, and then his first match is okay.
And his first official match is going to be against Luchasaurus
on
October 10th, Title Tuesday.
I had it mixed up. Thank you for the.
Honestly, I'm ready to hear what he's got to say. Why he made the jump from WWE to AEW. I think he's got something to prove. He's got some more wrestling left in him, and I'm grateful that he's in AEW. Or I think that the sky's the limit for him. Somebody that another star power. But he's spent 25 years as a sports entertainer.
Yeah.
This is his first time being a pro wrestler. Can he make the transition?
Well, since his days on the indies.
I think he can do it. I think he's a great wrestler. I think that he's going to make the transition really well. And I'm grateful to hear what he's got to say. I'm happy that Adam Copeland is in AEW. Rumors have been circulating that he was very close to signing with AEW, and well, those rumors have been true. He did sign with AEW. He is officially All Elite, and we are going to hear from him later tonight. I'm grateful that he's still got some wrestling left in him. I'm ready to hear what he's got to say. I honestly do think, Marty, do you think it's almost made official that he's going to face off against Christian Cage for the TNT Championship at Full Gear?
I think they planted the siege, definitely.
I think it's going to happen. I think you're going to see Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, Full Gear, TNT Championship on the line in Kia Forum in Los Angeles. Honestly, I think it's going to happen. What better way to having him face off against his former partner, his former, he never got to face Christian one-on-one because he was already retired by that time.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I don't think, well, the thing about it, too, is it happened so early in both of their careers when they faced off against each other. It's like, what could happen now that both men are, past their prime in the, height of their careers? What could happen?
I think they could put on a banger of a match. I can't see why they couldn't.
Especially with especially with all the experience that both men have currently.
Yeah.
I feel like it would be a
with
much
25 plus
match.
years of experience, yes, between both men.
Yeah. I feel like it would be a much better match.
I think it could too. I think that the sky's the limit for both men. It would give more, I think that there's still good plans for TNT Championship. It's not as much of a workhorse title as it used to be, but I think there's still plans for it to go forward.
You could make it the workhorse championship once again, especially considering the kind I don't. Well, here's the
it
thing.
Might not be as much of a good title anymore, but if it's main eventing pay-per-views, it's still getting utilized.
Well, let me say this. It might not be necessarily a workhorse title, but at least give it that sort of important feel that it once had.
And I think it definitely
star power
did.
Had. And I think you're doing that currently.
Yeah, and
especially bringing in Adam Copeland.
Well, especially with also having it as your main event match.
Oh, absolutely.
And having that kind of match in general at Wrestledream, I think that really gave it more of now people are starting to get more invested into what is next for Christian Cage as champion. who is he going to go after next? I
Yeah,
think the next opponent's got to be Adam Copeland, and you can
yeah.
set up a program between both of them
Well,
itself.
not to mention too, I do believe when the title like first came around, I do believe that the TNT Championship used to actually like main event.
I'm
So
grateful that Tony Khan is putting more. I
more
think
faith.
Christian
Yes.
Cage might be the best champion to hold that title for right now,
I
honestly,
agree.
because he.
He's gonna help bring back the the
I
lineage
thought maybe
they have.
Darby Allin would have, but I think Christian Cage makes the most
Nah,
sense
I
to
was
be
gonna
the
say,
champion right
with
now,
all
honestly.
due respect to Darby, I just don't see him really like living up to that TNT championship like lineage or even like the he just wouldn't bring that same level of like importance, if you ask me, to the TNT title. And it's like I said, with all due respect to Darby, I did enjoy him as the TNT champion at least the first time. The second time, that one was kind of like, oh, they could have done something with it if they didn't just if they didn't just completely sweep his second reign under the rug and just give it right back to Samoa Joe.
Right.
But
But again, I mean, of course, Christian Cage says that he's held that title a lot longer, and there could be some,
he has, damn it.
no, he's only held it for a little over a
Lies.
week.
Lies. He's held it all this time. They just want you to believe that he's
It
only
was
held it a week.
right. But I think this is going to conclude this episode of No Final Bell. Please make sure to follow us on social media at Tinkle Sports. You want to like, comment, subscribe, and follow for more. Hit the bell notification to get notified when our videos get come out. Of course, please make sure to see more content on our YouTube channel at Tinkle Sports Entertainment on YouTube. We got this show as well as Out of Turn 4 on Facebook Watch. I don't think Out of Turn 4 has been on Facebook Watch as of late, but will have this episode both YouTube and Facebook Watch. Of course, we have. I know everybody's been wondering where has Sunday morning Tinkle been last few weeks. We've been very busy. We're gonna try to get that back on schedule to come out. Unfortunately, I got nothing but time, so we'll be able to get this one out on Q as well. So we have Out of Turn 4 every Tuesday at 5 until the NASCAR season is over with. We got the show every Wednesday at 5 typically, unless something else happens. And then we have Sunday Morning Tinkle hopefully coming back soon. Until that's on hiatus again. As always, we'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.